What is going on, guys? EASYHEIMER here. I'm here with the Haoqi Squirrel. This is their foldable e-bike. This is the Midnight Black. This bike was priced at $12.99 and is now discounted on their website for $7.99. It also comes in two other different colorways. It comes in a Tiffany blue and a mist gray. This is the Midnight Black color with black and orange and a little bit of yellow decals on it. This bike has a 48 volt, 10.4 amp hour battery located inside of the frame, and it also is paired with a 500 watt brushless motor in the rear. So this is their foldable version, so it does have two different fold points. So one is right here on the handlebars, and another is right here with a battery, where you can get battery access as well. Comes with nice 20 by 4 inch road tires with a nice yellow sidewall, which I think it gives it a nice little pop, and just like super comfortable knobby street tires. This bike comes with mechanical and brakes front and rear. Super cushiony seat that's very comfortable while you're riding. Rear rack in the back for any kind of saddlebags or any cargo that you're holding. This bike weighs 62 pounds and has a payload capacity of 350 pounds. This is what the bike looks like from the handlebar point of view. So on the left side you have your front brakes, a little bell, and your LCD screen. There are 5 levels of assistance on this bike, 1 being pretty much nothing and then 5 being the most. You also have 2 buttons. You also have 3 buttons right here. So you have your power button, your plus and minus, and you also have a walking button. So if you hold down, the bike will slowly walk itself. On the right side, you have your rear brakes, your 7-speed shifter, and your half-twist throttle. The handlebars are also adjustable to your height preference, as well as your angle of handlebars, depending on how you like to ride. What's going on, guys? We're doing the hill test with the Haoqi Squirrel foldable e-bike. We're gonna go on level 5 assistance, uphill, just throttle only, and see what we can get for top speed. Then we'll pedal, and then we'll go downhill for a top speed test, as well as a brake test. So let's get it. Oop. Uphill, we're at like 10 miles an hour, 11 miles an hour. And now we're gonna pedal a little bit. Pedaling uphill, we're getting around 14 miles an hour. So uphill we got around 10.5, 11 miles an hour, and then uphill with pedaling we got 14 miles an hour. And now we're gonna go downhill, see how fast we can go. Another beautiful sunset. This might be the hill for sunsets, not gonna lie. Downhill was 29 miles an hour, and the brakes worked pretty well. Stopped it pretty well. Feel pretty good about that. All these brakes are pretty much like all average when it comes to how they stop, but that was probably the slower of the top speed compared to some of the other bikes, but still pretty decent speed going downhill. The 60s, 70s for bike riding, so this is a great time to ride before it gets too cold. But with the Haoqi Squirrel, noticed a couple things compared to other bikes. I think the first thing that I noticed was this bike doesn't come with any suspension in the front or the rear. So you do have a pretty stiff ride since nothing is being cushioned. But I personally don't mind it because sometimes some of the suspension on the bikes is kind of wacky. So I don't really mind a stiff frame when it comes to some bikes, especially this one. It's a foldable, so either they wanted to kind of make it without suspension so it would be a little bit lighter, or that's just kind of how they designed the bike. Like I said, I personally don't mind it. There are some times where you obviously have to watch where you're going so you don't smack into a pothole and it gets pretty aggressive, but other than the firm ride, it's still a smooth ride. Everything on this bike is adjustable, so the handlebars are adjustable as well as the seat, which is nice. And it comes in this really cool, funky colorway. It's like a black, orange, and like a tan. And it's really setting the mood for Halloween. I think it looks really, really good with all the Halloween costumes and decorations. And like I said, overall, just a very smooth ride, even with no suspension. The throttle is pretty. Throttle is pretty responsive. Like as soon as you are on the throttle, it pretty much goes. Same with the pedals. It just kind of goes as soon as you start pedaling, which is really nice. Because some of the other bikes, they don't have a very reactive throttle system or controller. So it takes a little bit for it to kick in. But the bike turns really well. It feels very balanced because I think it's a smaller bike and the wheels are perfectly aligned. So it feels very balanced even though it is a taller bike. I think the seat does a pretty good job with the comfortability. Does a pretty good job with the comfortability. It's like a memory foam gel style seat, so it's pretty comfortable. Plenty of room for your legs, and you can adjust it to make the seat a little bit higher so your knees aren't hitting the handlebars, which is always nice because even with a smaller bike you kind of notice when with the smaller foldable bikes that sometimes your knees get close to the handlebars, and if you got longer legs, nobody wants their legs to be hitting the steering wheel or the handlebars when you're riding. I'm trying to think of some things that this bike doesn't really have, like in the sense of like comfort features or display looks or anything like that, and I can't really find anything. Like I said, the only thing that this bike doesn't really have compared to the other bikes that I have reviewed is some type of dampering suspension. The controller is responsive with the throttle and the pedals. The bike looks good from colorways and just like overall style. I think it's like one of the nicer bikes that I've seen. Overall, I'm very impressed in this bike in general. With a very comfortable ride, good performance for the battery and the motor, while having a very sharp and sleek design. For the price of $799, this is a very capable bike. I'm not really sure of a bike at this price range that has the looks and performance that this bike has. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to EASYHEIMER. EASYHEIMER out.